Hi, welcome to the Sip and Spin. Today is the Tour de Fleece first challenge day. And what a challenge day is, it's an opportunity for you to really get outside your comfort zone and challenge yourself. So for me this year, it's something that I've always wanted to do anyway. I won an auction for a fleece, and here is some of the fleece washed up. This is Juan. I love the fact that I know the sheep's name. It creates a little bit more of a connection to what it is that I'm doing. So I started prepping this yesterday. I have some white Scottish blackface that I picked up from the Wolverine a few years ago, and it was a giant learning curve on that one. When I washed it, I realized that I should have prepped it a little bit first and gotten out some of the coarser guard hairs. So I'm gonna have to card this a second time, whereas with Juan, before I even started getting it wet, I went through and I separated it out, I combed it a little bit, and that's going to make the preparation process a whole lot easier. And as you can see, I've already started carding a little bit. I started earlier today. In my glass is strawberry sun tea because I'm now addicted to David's tea, and the strawberry tea is divine. So it's a sunny, warm day here in the Midwest. I'm sweating in some very unladylike places. So what I'm going to do with this fleece is I'm actually going to use my combs because I want to pull out even more of those guard hairs if I possibly can. So the combs that I will be using are gorgeous combs. These are St. Blaise, which is a pretty common company. It's kind of cool. For a brief moment today, I'm going to feel a little bit like superhero. I'm going to be like Wolverine, which means that I'm also going to need to be very careful. So whenever my combs aren't in use, I'm going to make sure that I keep them on the side. I'll do this at a couple different angles so you can see, because I am going to be using my Diz a little bit as well. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to charge the comb, just like I would if I was going to be using a drum carder or hand cards. I need to go from, it's not matted, it's not felted, but I need to get these fibers going in a direction that's going to be just a little bit easier to spin. So I am going to carefully get them on the comb. And this is another opportunity for me because this was an uncoated fleece. It was surprisingly clean. I only had to do one rinse on it, but there is still some residual hay, vegetable matter, and the nice thing with running it through either cards or combs is it gives me just one more opportunity to get some of those stray bits out that I don't want in my yarn when I spin. Now for this project, it's going to be a very small project. I realized when I started the Tour de Fleece this year, the weather here was stunning and I wanted to spin outside. Well, I don't want to put my wheel on the ground. It doesn't matter what wheel I'm using. I don't want it sitting on the ground. And so I thought, what a wonderful way to challenge myself by making a rug that I can carry around with me and use underneath my spinning wheel when I'm spinning places outside. Now I have a decision to make here because I did card this before I washed it, before I combed it, sorry. Because I combed this before I washed it, I could just start pulling this, or I could run it through my Diz. I did that with one batch and I realized that it actually did need a little bit of that second pass because there were still bits in here that were matted a little bit. The fibers were still going a different direction. So I thought, might as well just demonstrate this as well. So using hand cards, I love these because As long as I can see the nameplate, I know I'm doing it correctly. And basically, I'm just like with hand cards, I'm transferring the fiber from one comb to the other, getting rid of some of the guard hairs, getting rid of some of the vegetable matter as it sifts out, which is really kind of nice. It's the other reason why I'm doing it outside. The table is starting to get a little dirty, and I would much rather have it cleaned off out here than inside. All right, now I have just this little bit left. So this, I'm just gonna go ahead and pull this little bit off to spin. And then what's left on here, it's not waste, certainly, it's still usable, but it's much smaller pieces, much shorter staple length. Now, what I could do is I could run this through the drum carder, but for the sake of time, I'm just gonna store it away, and I'm gonna work with this bit of fiber later. I'm not gonna throw it away. I'm just gonna work with it a little bit later. And then what I have left is on here, and I am going to use the Diz to remove this. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the video on this one, move the camera around so you can actually see me use this. Okay, so for this process, I do have a hand clamp on here, and that's only because this table is really slippery. So it just makes it a lot easier when I get through to move this. I shouldn't be, when you're dizzing, it shouldn't be one of those things where it takes a lot of strength or pulling. So I'm just going to get it started. And then I'm just going to move back and forth across the fiber. I'm going to have this nice little fluffy ball that I'll put in there. And again, this is, it's not bad. I can certainly still spin this, but it has a lot coarser. The fibers are sticking out. So I'm going to really need to think about how I want to use this. Something tells me that because this is so coarse and has so much sticking out of it, chances are this is going to become the inside of a lovely dryer ball. When in doubt, it goes inside of a dryer ball. There's something deeply satisfying about putting fiber that you can't spin inside a dryer ball.